Eureka College. I suppose you could say that those two jobs were my first exposure to elective office. The issues may have been different, but the lessons of leadership were the same. Hard work, a knowledge of the facts, a willingness to listen and be understanding, a strong sense of duty and direction, and a determination to do your best on behalf of the people you serve. These are the hallmarks of good leadership at every level, whether it's the political arena is high school student council or the capital of the mightiest nation on earth. Well, I've tried both, and frankly, I had more fun in student government.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and welcome to this month's Live From at the Reagan Library. Remember, we do these on the first Wednesday of every month. Because of the way we're filming today's Live From, we aren't actually able to chat with you live. You know that's my favorite feature. We will come back to it next month. But if you have any questions, simply put them in the comment box below, and when we're done with the broadcast, we'll answer you that way. So I am standing in an area of the Reagan Library that is not actually open to the general public. Since 2009, this area has been used almost exclusively for student immersive educational experiences, students grades 5 through 12, that they book through our education department. But now this area is also a way to empower your workforce through our all-new Reagan Leadership Center simulation experience. This all-new experience provides all types of groups a way to enhance their team building, their decision-making, their collaboration and communication, and their leadership skills. Welcome to the Reagan Leadership Center. So the Reagan Leadership Center course offers groups a way to work better together through simulations, as well as through immersive, historical, international, real-life scenario events, ultimately transforming your group into a cohesive unit ready to tackle any problem and any challenge. Now, there are two different simulations that your groups can choose from. One is called Operation Urgent Fury, again, based off a real-life scenario where you need to help rescue and bring home American college students who are studying on the island of Grenada as a rebel and communist government sort of comes in to take over. The other scenario, also real life, is called KAL-007. It is based off of the true life story of Korean Airlines 007. It was a passenger plane, a civilian airline, that while flying internationally, mistakenly or accidentally, flew into Soviet airspace, and the Soviets actually shot down the plane, killing everyone on board. Now, regardless of the scenario your team takes on, you take on members of the White House cabinet, high-ranking military officials, White House press corps, and you decide how to work together and maybe sometimes work against each other to solve these real-life crises. These simulations provide your group ways to learn effective communication, as well as the importance of face-to-face diplomacy, as well as thoughtful action.
Over time, I was getting better at synthesizing the information I was getting so I could more concisely convey it to my colleagues and then to the president. Communication, obviously, team building, working under pressure, all sorts of executive functioning skills.
How about a tour? So I am standing in the Reagan Leadership Center Oval Office. This room is a 3/4 scale replica of the White House Oval Office. If you're familiar with the Reagan Library, you'll know that we have a full-scale replica in the museum as part of the tour that you get to explore, but this is a 3/4 scale as part of the Leadership Center. Now, in here, the team members that are working in this area are taking on members of the Reagan administration cabinet. So someone is the president, someone's the vice president, someone's the secretary of state. In here, you are working together. You are told, depending upon the scenario you're doing, what is happening in the world. And through time-sensitive decision-making, you need to figure out the best way to resolve the problem or how America is going to take on that challenge.
I was trying to embrace the president as the real president and give my answers accordingly. And so for those few moments, I suspended disbelief and thought I was the chief of staff. And so it was well designed in that way. And I enjoyed doing it.
I really wanted the president to take my course of action. I felt really bought into trying to convince him of that. So yeah, definitely. You get very immersed in it very quickly.
I'm now standing in the Reagan Leadership Center Command Decision Center. Team members in here take on the roles of high-ranking military officials. In here, you're told what the President of the United States wants to do to resolve the issue going on in the world, and it's your job to figure out the best military tactics to solve that problem.
With every new scenario that came up, I improved, right, with my response and how I was able to adjust and adapt, and not only give a summary of what I knew, the information I knew, but then how I could positively contribute to the overall discussion in the decision-making. There's a sense of urgency, right, and all the things going on at once. And so with that, and when you overcome that level or that next decision, you do feel accomplished.
So now we're in the Reagan Leadership Center press room. This is a replica of the White House press room, and members of your team that are in this room are acting as the White House press corps. Their role is to sort of scoop the story to the American public, perhaps before the President of the United States or the military are ready to share that information. You even get to file your news story. We have cameras and green screens and the whole thing. It's really fun. And then when each of the rooms are done, all three groups, so the press room, the Oval Office, the Command Decision Center, all three groups come in here together. And together you debate and you discuss how the actions and decisions you made in your room impacted other rooms, and in fact, potentially changing decisions, real-time decisions in the other rooms as they're learning what's going on sort of in the world, in the military, in the press. It's my favorite part of the entire simulation.
Realizing the importance that you need feedback from multiple different avenues of government, whether it's advisors, whether it's elected officials, the importance of listening to others and their opinions, and also taking a step back before you make a decision. That in any walk of life, you need to make an informed decision, listen to all the facts, stay calm, and think, well, what is the best course of action?
Now, if you think this discussion is the end of your simulation experience here at the Reagan Library, think again. Once you are done here in this simulation in the press room, your team members are going to go through these magic doors and fly home aboard Air Force One. This is an actual Air Force One flight simulator, and then sort of a Hollywood plane built on the other side of it. In here, some of your team members will actually be chosen to be the flight crew, to go inside the simulator and fly your whole group home. Such an amazing experience. Now, I should share with you that this is about a 1.5 hour experience, and it takes about 30 to 45 people. For groups that are larger, we actually have one coming in next week. For groups that are larger, we will split you up. Perhaps one group is touring the Reagan Library or having lunch. The other group is doing the simulation, and we rotate you through. We also even recommend, renting one of our seminar rooms, and you can teach additional leadership skills and have a longer seminar session. We offer it all, the rooms, the meals, and of course, the simulation experience. If you want to learn more or you want to book your group, it's not an expensive venture at all. Simply send an email to events, that's plural, events@reaganfoundation.org. That's events@reaganfoundation.org. A team member will get back to you and will book you or answer your questions. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
And in all of that time, I won a nickname, the Great Communicator. But I never thought it was my style or the words I used that made a difference. It was the content. I wasn't a great communicator, but I communicated great things, and they didn't spring full bloom from my brow. They came from the heart of a great nation, from our experience, our wisdom, and our belief in the principles that have guided us for 2 centuries.